Hello, this is Miss Andrea with Not Another Homeschool blog, and today we will talk about how homeschoolers graduate. So today's homeschool question is as follows. Dear Miss Andrea, can you please explain how homeschoolers graduate? Simple enough question. A little nuanced, and we're probably going to take some twists and turns as I try to explain this. But there are two basic ways that homeschoolers graduate. Way number one is the parent decides their homeschooler is done and goes online and mail orders a diploma and gives it to their child. I know that sounds very simplistic, and you want to know how the parent makes that decision. Well, under homeschool laws in different states, there are certain criteria that are demanded that the parent teach the student. And it's basically your core subjects: math, language arts, history, social studies, and science. And so, as long as a parent has taught those 4 subjects through, I guess, 12th grade, but if your child is advanced, you could stop at 11th. You can say, my child has done what is required of them to graduate. Some people have homeschooled a little longer, especially if their child is special ed, or maybe they were in school and they were on IEP, so maybe they kept their child homeschooling to 19. But basically, you homeschool, you do those 4 core classes till your child is roughly 18, and you as a parent can decide that your child is ready to graduate. That said, that is not how most homeschoolers do it. They tend to look at what is required in their state. In my state, for example, you need 4 maths, 4 language arts, 3 to 4 sciences, 2 to 3 histories, a government and economics, a phys ed, a health, and 2 years of the same foreign language. And most homeschoolers look at what is required in their state and follow that should their children want to go to college. And a good percentage of homeschoolers do go to college, and I will get that number for you, and I will post it, the percentage of homeschoolers that end up going to college. So, when a homeschool student has met what the parent has determined is what the state suggests, that's the time when most parents decide that my child is ready to graduate. And at that point, they most likely have applied to and have been accepted into college. So basically, when a college decides that they're ready to take your homeschooler, that's kind of, for the most part, when a lot of people decide to stop homeschooling. Those are the college prep homeschoolers, the homeschoolers who are homeschooling with the explicit purpose of getting into college. That said, there are people who have started college at 12 or 13 years old. And at that point, the parent can graduate the homeschooler because a college has admitted them. And now they're working on their bachelor's degree, master's degree, etc. So basically, if your kid is college ready or workforce ready or community college ready, the parent has the right to go online, mail order a diploma, write a document that shows what the child has learned for the child to have, for the child to present to any future educator that they need to present to, and then they graduate them. By and large, that's how homeschoolers graduate. Another way some homeschoolers graduate is through what's called an umbrella program or virtual school. Some states require you to declare yourself a homeschool, or or fall under a private school to homeschool. So basically, there are a lot of accredited private homeschool programs out there that are called umbrella schools, and the parent, for in Tennessee, I have a couple of homeschool college prep clients in Tennessee, and so they take whatever homeschool classes they're going to take, and then they send the documentation of that class to their umbrella school, and their umbrella school keeps track of everything they've taken, tells them what they need to graduate per state standards, and when that time is done, they issue them a diploma and a transcript. And so their diploma and transcript look just like the diploma and transcript of anyone who goes to a private school and or a public school. It's exactly the same. So that's basically how homeschoolers graduate. There are many variations and nuances that fall into that. How did my homeschoolers graduate? It was a little bit more layered for my personal children. We homeschooled traditionally for the most part, but we also attended what you would call a homeschool hybrid program. And one day a week, this program taught the arts, all of them: music, dance, theater, voice, choir, instruments, tech, photography, graphic design, all those things. So they had, a syllabus that the students had to follow to be considered graduated from this program. The goal of this program was to mirror, I guess, the FAME school minus the academics, because parents were responsible for the academics, and this school was responsible for the fine arts. And so any of these children who graduated this program that wanted to go to a fine arts conservatory went with no problem. My daughter went into a general ed college, but she got full scholarship into their theater department. My son was accepted into SCAD, which is kind of hard to get into without an arts background, but he didn't go there. He went somewhere else. So they did this program. They finished it in full. They had a program for parents who didn't feel they could handle the academics themselves, and that was on Thursdays, and the kids that went to that got their 4 core subjects. And then the other 3 days a week, they did all the homework for all these classes. So it was kind of like part-time school, part-time home. My kids took maybe 1 or 2 classes each from that program, and they also took 1 or 2 classes each from our state homeschool virtual school, which is public school at home, but you could pick and choose and take a couple of classes, and they would give you the credit for that. So when it came time to graduate, they had fulfilled what was required from that homeschool hybrid arts program. They fulfilled that completely, and they had fulfilled everything that they needed to get into college on an academic side. And so I took all of that information and wrote one big homeschool portfolio, and I wrote one big transcript. And when it came time to graduate, their school made them do senior presentations in the arts to graduate. So I wrote the transcript. I ordered their Gen Ed diploma because they didn't do that school's Gen Ed part of the school. Those who did got the Gen Ed diploma from them. But I supplied my children's Gen Ed diploma. The homeschool school supplied my children's arts diploma. I gave my kids' diploma to them, to the school. They had it framed on a 2-sided diploma book, both diplomas for my kids, and then they just had a big graduation with all the kids who were in that program, and they handed everyone their diplomas. Everyone pretty much got 2 diplomas, whether it was diploma from their parents and the arts program, or whether it was diploma from the arts program and that same school's Gen Ed program. So it is not uncommon for someone to homeschool with their parents 100% and still have a group homeschool graduation. For example, If you're part of a homeschool co-op, even if it's just social, at graduation time, these kids are friends. They might just want to have a big graduation with their friends. The parents get together, they put all the money together, they get a hall, and they have a big graduation. There's usually a prom before that, same group of people. So I hope I answered that question. That's how homeschoolers graduate. The parents decide that they're ready to graduate, or they've met the requirements needed to get into college, or the requirements needed to graduate from a public school, or they belong to a homeschool hybrid school and they've met their requirements. So basically you're meeting some requirements somewhere, and you graduate. As homeschoolers, the parent in my state, every state's a little different. The parents are the principal, and so the parents' names need to be on the main diploma. If you go to a virtual school or an umbrella school, that's considered a private school, and so you get a private school diploma. That's all I have. Hope I explained that well. If there are any further questions or any specific questions, please feel free to ask them so I can make more sense. Until next time.